First up, Chael Sonnen, the MMA king of rage bait clicks, I think is fair to say. He does very well on YouTube as well. Here's some quotes from Chael on his YouTube channel. Chael is friends, by the way, with Rampage Jackson and Raja Jackson as well. And he described Raja as calm and polite and just a great guy. So he's impossibly biased. You can't get more biased. And he even says that, he didn't say he's biased, he just says, oh, you know, the great, and he's misunderstood. But then he comes out with this utter tosh. Right, some quotes here. This is a wildly complicated situation. Is it?
Nope. No, it's not.
I watched this thing 20 times before I made this. You should have watched it 21 times. That's one for every punch. Or 22 times, however you count it. While they were very stiff shots, not what we would call a working shot, he isn't a pro wrestler. It did not appear that Raja had lost his temper. It did not appear that these were being done out of anger.
What video was he watching? And what stream was he watching when this kid was getting angrier and angrier and angrier and completely off the reservation angry and still angry afterwards, and even admitted that he was trying to F up a wrestler for real? Is that the quote? I'm going to F up a wrestler for real.
It's been my dream to F up a pro wrestler for real. That's what he said. I've got more.
We? Is he one of us, or is he talking about we in the MMA world? Because I guarantee you, I watch a bit of MMA. If you're laying there and you're defenseless, even after the first shot, John McCarthy or somebody's diving in. What if somebody else? I'd love to see an MMA or UFC match where the guy gets knocked out on a slam, which we've talked about. There are compilation videos of people getting suplexed or slammed and out before the first punch, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I would love Chael to look at an MMA fight or a UFC fight where the guy gets punched 21 times, but he wasn't punching him with full force. It wasn't a working shot, but it was just somewhat heavy. That person would never fight again, right? And that referee would never ref again.
Paul Semtex Daly, he was an English MMA fighter some years ago. I think he was out-wrestled by Josh Koscheck, right? Like in the early 2010s. After the bell went, he punched him in the back of the head. Guess what? He was banned from UFC for life. I don't know if that happened now, because I don't think UFC's got any morals at all.
Well, it depends on what kind of draw you are, right?
He was an up-and-comer as well, Paul Semtex.
No, but I'm just saying, if he's a Conor McGregor, or even a Chael Sonnen back in the day, or any of these guys, they sell tickets. So your worth depends on, you know what I mean? Your worth depends on how much of a problem you are, and you measure that.
Hey, well, you know, Conor McGregor lost a civil case for sexual assault, and, you know, he threw a trolley through a bus windows and instigated riots and punched old men in the back of the head when they didn't want his whiskey, and done numerous horrible things, basically. UFC and Dana White are still not cutting ties with him, and that's because he's a draw still.
Yeah, because one time he said, who the F is this guy? And that went viral, so he's worth it.
Yeah. I'm going to speed through some of the other things he said, because I've got a page here. At this point, this is Chael Sonnen. At this point, it appears that Raja marked out for his own gimmick and really began laying some shots in, but these shots aren't done out of anger. And if you want to understand what happened here, you're going to have no ability to get into the eye or mind of the DA or a potential juror. You're going to have no ability to do that if you don't understand emotion versus action, right? The action is supposed to look like he's punching him. The action is supposed to look like he turns him into 180 and slams him down on the back of his head. So then where you cross that already blurred line, right? I mean, yeah, if you're stupid, you can't tell the difference, I guess. Brock Lesnar trusted Braun. I'm sorry, I ran this through a translator. It's not perfect.
That was his nickname. Braun. Come here. I got something for you, Braun.
Anyway, Brock Lesnar hit Braun. What's he called? Braun Strowman.
I was going to say, after he punched him, it was Brock, because he saw multiple Brocks.
How many Brocks do you see? Yeah, well, okay, that's not a good correlation whatsoever, so we'll scrub that out. On getting a receipt, it just means go make it look good. If he embarrasses you out here, go embarrass him there. If he walked up and punked you in front of the boys, go out there, punk him in front of the crowd. Get even with him. They didn't mean go out there and hurt him. Well, who didn't mean that? Because apparently several people did mean that on the live stream. Punk him in front of the crowd. Get out, hurt him or go out there and have a fight with him. These two are cooperating. Are they? No, they're not. But one is a worker who fully understands that, and Stu, the other, who apparently is cooperating, is not a professional wrestler that's at an event and knows what he is told by people that he trusts, which is to go and get even with him. This is word soup of total contradictions to defend a friend of yours. More, if Raja attempts to take a defense in court from a legal proceeding, the police have not arrested him, but we already know what happened and we've got it on video and it's gross and it is an assault. Oh, apparently it is an assault now, and it is outside of what was agreed upon in pro wrestling, so apparently that's now that. And so many people have made this mistake in the sport before, thinking, well, it's up to the referee, whatever the referee says. That's false. If Raja is saying he did it in retribution to the beer can because that's how the boys told him to settle it and Stu goes along with it, I mean, you will truly have a kayfabe moment where these guys could build. These are in DC, guys.
Can I stop you?
Please?
This sounds like a Mark just saying wrestling terms and not even knowing what they mean or where they're placed.
Yeah.
Do you get that? Like, I'm using the terminology so I know the business.
No, he's saying we. We in the business.
But Raja didn't understand his gimmick. He doesn't have a gimmick. He's not a worker. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah. This isn't getting picked up by Triple H, but on the indie scene, you now have the makings of a good angle. So he's trying to turn this into a money not spinning angle. An angle in exchange for your reputation, even if it's make-believe, is a trade that most guys would take. Now, I'm getting in front of this, and I'm making these predictions with how having news if SykoStu is injured, if his jaw's broken and some teeth loose. All of a sudden, you're having a very different conversation, but you have the police. Right. Chael then made a second video doubling down on the first video. Here's the thing.
Can I stop you right there?
Please?
The scary part about this is, and I know a little bit about this, is the JBL Blue Meanie thing from One Night Stand. And they gave Meanie the lawsuit bookings, and they gave him the win over JBL, so there wouldn't be any lawsuit against WWE, JBL, or any of that other stuff for a dangerous, toxic work environment, which Meanie had grounds for a lawsuit. It's on the scale, not as bad, but on the scale where Meanie needed plastic surgery. He busted him open. He really tagged Meanie a lot in there, as Meanie didn't know it was going to get to that point. So the correlation is kind of there, or the analogy, but they dangled that carrot in front of Meanie, and Meanie took it, and the BWO came back for like a month, maybe 6 weeks, had some matches, and were gone, and now you can't sue. And they released Meanie not long after that.
Hey, there's one even worse than that, amazingly. You know the guy that New Jack stabbed?
Mass Transit?
No, the other guy, Hunter somebody else. So this is in the 2000s. Nearly killed him in the ring, right? I think he's the guy.
The Florida Independent that was on Dark Side the Ring, where the guy was outside.
Yeah, I think either the promoter or that wrestler went up to him and said, "Listen, if I let you out or drop the charges, or don't make a complaint or say it was all the work, we could take this all around the horn, baby." And New Jack was like, "Yeah." You got to drop the charges, though, first. I went, "Oh, don't worry, I'll do that." As soon as those charges dropped, he was out of there.
Well, what I'm saying is, the scary part is Stu going to be enough of a mark to want to quell this and do it, take it all around, brother, and do the angle with Raja Jackson?
If you've got people like this Douglas Mallow fella around him, counseling, and he may never wrestle again, he may never walk properly again.
Yeah, and everybody's worried about an angle. This dude is actually, he might have permanent brain damage, and you're talking about putting him back in the ring with the guy that did it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Doug Mallow guy is probably going to be like, he seems to have a good head on his shoulders, not in the bubble. I would dare, but the temptation with all wrestlers that want to make it, and let's not leave out WWE. At the time that this happened, and you said there's still an ID property. So when's WWE going to really cut ties with them? The longer they keep the ties, and even if they cut ties with Knox Pro, at the time, this is under WWE's umbrella, under TKO. Isn't it like a sue everybody scenario?
Oh, yeah, I think it definitely would be. WWE did rescind that affiliation. I think it took a few days for Rikishi or whoever does the website. I doubt it's Rikishi, but you know what I'm saying.
But it was still valid on the night this happened.
Absolutely it was. Now, let me give you some of the best comments on Chael Sonnen's video. Raja beat Stu so badly that he managed to give Chael Sonnen brain damage as well, which I thought was an amazing comment. 50,000 dislikes is the receipt on how bad of a take this was. You seriously said this is a wildly complicated issue. No, it's not. It's simple. He almost murdered this guy, fool. Another one. This is the sound of 1.34 million people collectively losing respect for our favourite uncle. Sad day. And the last one, Tito Ortiz has officially surpassed Chael in IQ. Which is another amazing comment, if you've heard some of the things Tito has come out with, or not, when he's just stood there with his CTE-addled brain, not knowing what to say. Sean Strickland from UFC also came out with a terrible take as well, but he said rehab only. But yes.
Yeah, could I just ask you and everybody out there a question? What is the mental makeup for this and the other ones we're going to talk about as well? To basically, I can understand Chael in a way, not understand like it's completely wrong. He's protecting his friend and his friend's son. It's quite obvious, right? He's trying to do that, but it's just such a wildly inaccurate, tone deaf, lack of awareness take to have, and then sit there and double down on it. I just don't understand why nobody's seeing it. Like I asked you on Patreon, and I'll ask you 3 or 4 more times. What am I missing? What are we missing? What are we not getting right? What are we not seeing right? Because it seems like there's way more people taking the opposite take on this or stance than we would have ever guessed. I thought this would have been, like you said, it's not a complicated issue. He literally tried to murder this guy. If nobody pulled him off, he'd still be punching him right now.